Hey everybody, welcome to... Nah, it's not a normal video, because this is the 2025 Conlang Relay. That's right. And so I received a text from Jake from Let's Have a Boba, or Booba. I don't know if you want... is it Boba? Is it Booba? Nobody knows. It is in their language, Kestu. I think that's how it's pronounced. Sorry if it's not. And I am going to translate it into my language, Autojune. I wonder if you ever heard of it. So we're just going to show a little bit of the footage of my translation, glossing, and retranslation process. And that, once it's done, gets sent off to Space Dirt. This is a part of the 2025 Conlang Relay, where 24 different Conlang YouTubers or other members of the Conlang community in general are relaying, creating that long game of telephone between several translations, which began with George Corley, and over the course of about 3 months, we gradually went through, translated our texts, came together, and here is my result. And there's most likely, hopefully, a playlist where you could see all of the results and all of the processes. I think I am number 23 on the list, so this has already gone through several layers of telephone, and I'm very interested to see how it became what I got, and I'm interested to see how Space Dirt goes from my result. It's going to be very interesting to see. If the playlist exists by the time this video is uploaded, then I will link that playlist in the description of this video so you could experience the whole thing. I think they're all premiering in sequence. So with that out of the way, let's do some translating. Let's see what Jake gave me. So here it is. Here's the text. We have a lexicon list just like last time. Split up it alphabetically. Very nice, very pleasing. You got a phonology here, which, I mean, I guess I don't need to go too hard on the phonology of it, right? Because, you know, I'm mostly just going to be glossing out of this. 5-vowel system, okay, but these are how the, where's the romanization of this? Let's see. Oh, okay, so there's no difference between between aspirated stops and just initial modal stops. Okay, cool. Interesting. Okay, we have W's added in. Got it. SOV. Marked for case. Sa is the nominative. H is the accusative. Nu is the locative. And, wait, what phoneme was the CH? Phoneme was the CH again. I assume it was the cha? Yeah, cha is for the directional case. Okay. So I basically took a few minutes going over all the text that Jake provided, looking over all the grammatical details. I was a little bit drowsy because it was my birthday morning and I'd been having a party all night, so that was fun. Also, my wife was still asleep, so I was trying to be a little quiet. So I hope you enjoyed that Agma Schwa ASMR for this segment. It'll continue to be that way kind of the whole time, but not as bad, hopefully. But yeah, so I just kind of looked over this stuff, remembered some of it. I would make a couple mistakes as we went along. You'll see. But that's pretty much the gist of it. I'm just kind of fast forwarding through all of this for now so we can get to the actual act of translating. There we go. Eclipse. Okay, that's a good start. It's going to be interesting to see if I have all of these words in Autojune. I've just vastly expanded the dictionary with like loan words from Fwanel, Paramachican, and Prince, and a lot more is coming soon too, so let's see if I can avoid having to coin too many words for this. Sorry about that, we lost this for a second, but I am currently looking for what the say ending means on here. I do not see any evidence of it yet, so I'm gonna assume that it's just like a copular verb thing. So I then proceeded to work on making the gloss, my closest equivalent to a gloss that I can make out of this information that I was provided with. And now it's not like the most smooth looking or pleasant gloss you've ever seen, you know? Like I wasn't making an artistic masterpiece out of my glosses. I was just trying to get stuff written down in a way that was just consistent enough for me personally to get this text done. So don't make fun of my stupid glossing method in some parts of this. But yeah, basically I was just going through identifying the words, using a whole bunch of Control F and popping down into the lexicon list and looking for matching case markers and prefixes and suffixes wherever I could. I recorded myself and I pretty much narrated my way through the whole thing, but not only was there a lot of background sound happening because I was doing this right when we were just kind of beginning our day and getting ready to leave the cabin in the forest we were staying at for my birthday, and also it was kind of boring, honestly. I'm just kind of talking through my process. I'm not like laying down comedy gold or anything during this part, so let's just speed through it and move on and observe as I make some gross looking glosses and try to figure out exactly what this means. Anyway, where were we? Let's see what we got here. So I was looking at tfucha, which is a wheat plant, and so we have a declaration, like a vocative, and wheat, and then we have hnuch, and that means that hnu is probably the noun here, and cha is probably the case suffix. Yeah, so once I was back from the cabin, I continued my process of trying to create a gloss and come up with my approximation of what I thought the sentences were supposed to be in there. I did have a bit of a mix-up. In my drowsy state that I had that morning before I left the cabin, I thought that I had properly labeled the cases. I thought that the cha suffix was the accusative, but actually ha was the accusative. So I kind of had a bunch of things that were supposed to be directional labeled as accusative on there a few times, which was a little bit unfortunate. But most of the time it really didn't change the meaning too much because a lot of the verbs were already directional or involved a process in some way anyway, so I think I was okay. I think. Keep in mind, this could be horribly botching what originally was intended. Well, I can't even say originally. This is like the 23rd step. But the point is, if those mistakes came up, things are horrifically altered in here, it is likely related to maybe some case marking mess ups, maybe a misinterpretation of what that say suffix is at the end of some verbs, and maybe a misinterpretation of what the inclusive versus exclusive paradigm is like in this language, because from what I read, it operates a little bit differently from how your average real-world language's inclusive and exclusive first-person pronouns work. So we'll just have to see what happens. I'm sorry if I totally botched this, but also not really. This might be just a funny plot twist at the end. Okay, so tense. Is there anything about tense in here? There is no tense in this language. Is there anything about the past? Is there anything about the future? Is it all just implied using like those different converbs and stuff? Right? So is it kind of like instead of we cooperate and then the sage and then we become sages and then we fail? Is that what that means? Like, or is it say we cooperate, then we will be sages and we will fail? Yes, English translation. This is some Starve Harv level content right here. Eclipse. Should probably put it in all caps. Eclipse. Title of the story. Alright. Wheat is dying. The food store is low. Your brain is full. You and I are choosing to become sages. You are selling grain. You go to the wheat field. I'm sitting alone with salt. Okay. The stream is empty until the eclipse. You are sailing against the current. Drive for a while at the road next to the ancient stream before your journey. You are saying this account to the child. Okay. You are waiting for our homecoming while we heal the moon with our sacrifice to the sun. Let's see. While the sage pairs the sun close to the moon, The child performs and then eats a little. Okay. After the eclipse, the sage runs away naked. We cooperate, then our sages, and fail. Okay. And then the sage does not become wise using medicine. The child says to you, you are fermenting wheat and becoming rich, child. Okay. And that's it. Oh man. Sorry if I went a little fast and loose with the translations, but I really feel like, since I'm like number 23 on this list of telephone, that it probably is just this chaotic. Like, it has to be, right? Right? There's gonna be some, what is it? Some situational irony or whatever for people viewing this in the playlist. Let's see what happens. Time to make my Autojune translation and give that on to Space Dirt. Let's see. Now here is where things get fun. Now it is time to take this English translation and we are going to convert it into Autojune. Isn't that just dandy? Alright, so we're going to put it onto this little slot that I labeled Translation to Autojune. And I hope I have enough words to handle this kind of thing. So we are going to be using the dictionary. Isn't that great? Most likely using definitions. Is there a word for eclipse? There is not a word for eclipse. Okay. Great. So just my luck, the Arodjun dictionary, despite having over 3,000 entries in it right now, did not have a single word for eclipse, but there was a Proto-Cerncahelan word for eclipse. So I was a little bit lazy and I just let that eclipse word get converted into prince, imperial prince, pretty much directly, a solar eclipse specifically. And I have a whole system in place for importing loan words into the Arodjun dictionary now. This is a really huge development for me, by the way, so I just wanted to show it. So I imported the prince word, and then I had the Proto-Cerncahelan word, the Proto-Cerncahelan ID number, and all of that come together. I put it through the set of sound changes required to take it from 1200s Prince into 1200s early modern Autojune, and then from early modern Autojune into modern Autojune to get the modern word for eclipse. That being Yisurdam. So the title is Yisurdam. I put an M at the end to make it definite, so it's the eclipse in this case instead of just eclipse. So from there, I would go on to basically make a gloss. Well, I started out without making the gloss. I realized pretty quickly that I really should have had like a full gloss on there. So I kept making the gloss. I kept putting it all together using the Autojune dictionary to find my words. And there would come up a few more situations where I didn't have a word for something and I needed to coin it the similar ways to how I did it in that example for eclipse. Not all of them are loan words though. So I realized that would take a long time, so eventually I just kind of put them in parentheses and decided to do it at the end, which is what I did. Here it is, Space Dirt's text. This is what he's going to see. This is what he's going to have to translate. Ahem. Yisurdam. Jakachum wanamal ka yo. Janebem miatom ka miechba yo. Tioch bin hauker yo. Japichume viagma purino yo. Jarafe ma postota ye. Yota huinka wanama were. Huinin yimnyomu deuya. Joriach arneom kaklo yisurdam wo. Akuma puermamwe. Fjorketoimio a meom mi arneo joklunab kol choita kare. Sama bibichaumo helkie. Chakametma koyoch latar ye nyo. Hema da pataumra nyo mofchaichal latar chakeom yea. Nyo yazima keom ipatom purinka yo. Irum komema o bibicha kayo. Po yisurdam fonkach entim purinka yo. Invum kloviawema purimo ko ŋimp. Hiviawema jonk mutivem purinka yo hi. Siama klobe bibicha kayo. Jaslahioma wanama viawema hubicha ye bibicha. There you go. And that is all. That is that strange text converted from Kestu into Autojune. And now it is on to Space Dirt. Again, there should be a playlist for all this. If it exists when this video premieres, then That will be in the description. If not, maybe the premiere will happen and it'll kind of like lead into it with a redirect. I don't know. We'll see. But anyway, thanks for watching. Enjoy the rest of the relay. I am just as excited to see how it went as you all are. All right, goodbye. Nuz out. Bye.